Hello, dear students. Suraj this side from Indigo Learn, and we have with us Sriram as well.
Hey,
Hi,
hi,
Sriram.
guys. Hi.
Yeah. So we thought we'll catch up generally after the CA final examinations on what are the things you should be focusing on, what you should be doing, between this period and the results date, and there will be some doubts in your mind. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can put your questions on the chat box. If you have joined us through Zoom, you can, I'll share the Zoom link as well on the YouTube, and if you want, you can join on the Zoom and you can ask us any specific question. We have a small presentation, and we'll be, sharing our thoughts on what you should be focusing on, especially in the next 2 months. Is my screen visible, Sriram?
Yeah, it is visible, Suraj, but only the home screen with OneFin logo is visible.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
else.
sir, there's the other slide which I'll just be moving on. So the broad thing of discussion and giving you some clarity is on what are the job opportunities or options, how you should be preparing for interview, and the soft skill and upskilling thing that you should be focusing on. Now, the idea behind this session or interaction is we see a lot of students, they they pass the examination, and then after the results are out, they are not sure as to what kind of job they should be taking up. Or we have seen cases where they're not able to speak up in an interview. Of course, institute conducts the MCS and advanced MCS and all of that, but despite that, they are not very assertive. So even though they may have a lot of knowledge about the subjects, because they are not able to perform well in the interview, the job prospects actually come down. Sriram, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes. So I think that, once that the exams are done, you have a gap of couple of months. After that, you will also have, campus interviews and all of that. So, see, some of you may have some articleship left and you may be back to articleship related work. But those of you who do not have articleship, you should strongly start preparing for interviews. You should start getting clarity on what you want to do in life. I know a lot of us don't have the clarity of what kind of job, what should I do, and all of that. I think you should spend next 10-15 days talking to people, building a LinkedIn profile, connecting with people, finding out what are the various jobs, how to figure out what you want to do in life. That is a very, very active role that you have to play. I'm not saying you should not take a break. Please take a break of week, 10 days, whatever you think is appropriate, but then come back to reality also at certain point of time and start thinking about what you want to do in life. That is very, very important, because you will not get such kind of peaceful time to think over, interact and, talk to people anytime, around campus interviews. At that time, you have to make quick decisions and all that. So my suggestion would be, first, think about what you want to do. Then, of course, also please start preparing for what kind of jobs that you're looking for. Do they require any special skills? Do they require anything? Are there any? We have a bunch of points that we'll cover there, but that's briefly what I want to say. Think and then start acting. That is a 2-point summary of what I want to highlight.
Yeah. So, what are the various career choices? Of course, a lot of you would have thought about it. But if I have to share my story, I had not given much serious thought on what career path I should be choosing. And that became very difficult when I landed up in the campus interview, and it was not very clear as to which company to join, or whether I should be joining this company or that company. So these, in today's time, we have a lot of information available before. You can talk to your seniors and figure out what you would be wanting to do. So, these are broad roles which you have, put down here. It is not that you do not know or you are not aware of these kind of roles. So after qualification, so one area which you have to specifically think is whether you would want to go ahead and do practice. So if you are looking for practice, this part, if you're looking for practice, that is a very different game altogether. Apart from that, you can, you may look at different corporate roles or joining some company. It could be a manufacturing company, a startup, it could be in the service sector. Right. So a lot of companies come to campus. There are some companies who hire chartered accountants right from the campus. So if you're looking at those companies, right now is the time when you should research about those companies. It should not happen that after the results are out, then you start researching about those companies. So for example, let us say, something in manufacturing sector, interests you. So try to figure out what kind of companies are there, which companies give what kind of career path, how will you grow, right? Let's say you want to join a company like ITC. So what are the interview preparation you require? When should you apply? Right. There are some companies which only, call for some specific set of, let's say, rank holders. So if you fall in that category, prepare well in advance. That is what, I wanted to mention. So when you look at corporate roles, again, even in the roles, if you're looking to join a company, whether you want to join the core finance team or the treasury operations team or the audit team, which role do you want to take up? It should not happen that after you land up in the company, then you are figuring out whether I should join audit or taxation. I didn't mention that. Taxation is another specific, specialized role which you should be considering. Sriram, your thoughts on this?
Yes. So see, today CA students, right? About 90% of them don't take up practice. 90% of the new students who are qualifying, new fresh chartered accountants are going for jobs. So I'm pretty sure that 90% ratio will apply to any data set that you take, right? Any data set of students that you take. Now, having said that, there are some people who still want to figure out what they want to do, right? So if you have clearly figured out you want a corporate role, which is what is the case for 90% of people, good and great. But if you have some inkling of practice or you're not really sure, what you want to do, probably big fours or big sixes are probably one way to go about it. See, if you want to start practice, unless even if you have done articles in a big four or big six, networking and subject knowledge depth, actually you get it in large firms. Some of you may not like what I'm saying, but that is a reality. Structures, the process, the way things are done, the way you interact with clients, all of that you learn in, usually, there may be one odd exceptions, but usually you learn in big four or big six. So if practice is your goal, then big four, big six is one part. And even if practice is not your goal, but you're not really sure what kind of job you want to do, even then big four is one choice that you have, right? I'm pretty sure nobody wants to sit idle at home trying to scratch their head and figure out what job they want to do, right? I don't think any chartered accountant after qualifying would want to do that. So in the point, if you're not clear, my suggestion would be take up a role in big four, big six. You will, there's a saying, you'll either like it or don't like it. And if you don't like it, then very know that this is what you don't want to do, right? So if you're not able to choose what to do, please choose what not to do, right? So if you figure out what to do, what not to do, then obviously the last thing left is what you want to do, right? So please go and that is one part that I think. Second part that I think is, please, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do, please don't think of what is in fashion today, what gives me more money today, what is the in thing now, what is in fashion today, and all of that. Please think of what you want to be after 30 years. How do you want when the day you retire, how do you want to be? I know it sounds very odd, but the day you're retiring, how would you want to retire? That is a very, very good place to start working backwards from. So let's say you want to retire as a banker. Imagine, visualize you want to be a banker. Then obviously you'll realize, this is what I want to do. You want to retire as a CFO, and you have to figure, then some career path, right? Please don't make a statement saying that I want to retire as a very rich man or rich woman, that all of us want to,
Yeah.
right? But that is deviating from the path. All of us want to be rich, all of us want to be good also. But then how is the key question, right? So you have to figure out that how. And that how is something that you should do things which you enjoy. If you know very clearly what you're enjoying, great. If you don't know what you're enjoying, try 2, 3 things. You will know that you're not enjoying something, strike it off. So that is my suggestion, which is have some clarity, and if possible, experiment, and then choose a career path. First job need not be the job that you retire in. Okay, but please be open-minded. Please do research. Please talk to people. Please talk to as many chartered accountants as possible. Please find out what they do. Please find out how their work life is, how their life balance is. Please find out what is the money in it. money is not a bad thing; it's a good thing, but that should not be the sole objective, in my opinion, right? So please do research. That is my suggestion. Please do enough amount of research. Then, Suraj, you were saying something? No.
Yeah, so one is of course the traditional companies or the old age companies, you would say, let's say Reliance or LNT or Airtel or ITC, right? Citibank and all of these, they pick up a lot of students from the campus. You can also look at a lot of upcoming startups. Okay, don't go by the brand name. If though for those of you who want to understand business, who want to try something new in the next 1 to 2 years, you should definitely consider roles in startup where you will have a very different perspective. Now, one more thing, one more insight from our experience is that the first 2 years or first 3 years may not be the best years or may not be the best company, or it may not be the deciding factor for your life. But in this first 2 3 years, be open-minded, right? Try to figure out. You need to figure out. If you don't figure out things in the first 2 3 years, then what will happen is there'll be a automatic journey. You will drift along the path. As some things come up, you will take it up. You will work in a company for 5 years, then you will switch your jobs. You will somebody pays more money, you'll move to that role. But then what happens is by the time you reach our age, right? So we are at the age range of 35 40, then you suddenly realize that, is this something what I want to do? Okay, so we're speaking out of experience that all of this conscious thought process, you should start right at the beginning. See, for us, it is easy to say because we are talking out of experience. But if even if you are able to do 30 40% of a decent research at this stage, your career path will be much, much, much clearer. Okay. See, so far your parents were there to guide you. In the articleship firm, your principal was there to guide you. Teachers were there to guide you. Now is the time when you have to start becoming more independent. Of course, take suggestions, talk to seniors, all of those things you can do. But then see what you want to do at this point. And if you're clear now, by the time results are out in July, you will be in a much, much better position. Okay. So, what are the factors to consider? We talked about these factors broadly. One very important deciding factor is what is your interest in that given specific role or field. For example, if you are a die-hard fan of taxation is my subject. If you feel that, then you should look roles where you get taxation opportunities. Or if you're someone who is good with treasury and cash management and related aspects, then that should be the area. If you're good at financial reporting, then corporate finance could be one area, right? If you're good at audit could be one area. So choose that. See, out of those 5 6 subjects, you would have a liking for a specific subject. Okay, look at that subject and see whether you would be interested to build a career in that specific field of specialization. So that is one. And then what are your aspirations and where do you see yourself in the future? Right? We learn in strategic management, having a vision that is right now very important for you. As Sriram mentioned some time back, do I want to see myself as a CFO of a company, a CFO of a listed company, or do I want to see myself as someone who is running a successful business down the line, right? If you ask me honestly today, had I ever thought of starting my own business or a startup? I had never thought, at least. I didn't have that clarity. But at least after working for a few years, for 5 7 years, what I realized was, a corporate job is not something for me. Teaching is something where I could do better, or having my own business is what would be better. I think Sriram, if you can, discuss your career path and why,
Sure.
when, how did you decide for additional courses, that will
Yes.
give some clarity.
Yes. So one of the things, guys, is please acknowledge the fact that we don't know all answers. Okay. The attempt to search the answers is what gives you clarity. The answer per se, is a process. So nobody can say, definitely that this is what I want to do. And those thoughts also will change over a period of time. You should allow yourself that time to think through various options, look at various kind of roles that are available in the job market. What is it that you like and all of that. And please don't discount any subsequent educational prospects also. So if you believe that you want to do an MBA, you want to do a CFA, or you want to do some other course, doesn't matter. You want to do law, right? Because I know a lot of CAs who actually do law and set up law practice for GST tribunal and all of that stuff, right? So figure out that part, and you will know that path only after I'm also like you. I also figured out the path after a couple of years. But had I started working on that path right from the beginning, then I would probably have got my path probably slightly bit early. right? So my suggestion there would be, even if you're confused, that is fine. That's a great place to be, because you know that you don't know something, and when you start working towards gaining clarity, you will go on the right path. Right. So that is one aspect that I want to highlight. Second aspect I want to highlight is all your marks. You're good in one subject, bad in one subject, number of attempts, ranks, 10 standard marks, 12 standard marks. All of these are relevant for your first job. After your first job, and after you gain experience of 1 year or 2 years, they become irrelevant. Okay. It is only for the first job. So even, let's say, there are only 50 people, top 50 ranks in the country, right? So even if you don't get a rank, don't be disheartened. Okay. Even if you're, let's say, not a first attempt person, don't be disheartened, because all of that matters only for the first job. Does it matter? Yes. But does it mean that anyone who's not got those will not succeed in life? No, that is absolutely not the case. Okay. So please
We
figure out.
just to add on to that,
Yeah.
we have seen enough cases where people with 2 attempts, 3 attempts, more than that attempt. Of course, first job will be difficult. It is not that, just because you qualified, you'll get a job, because there are 10,000 chartered accountants who qualify each year, each attempt actually, roughly. And, you have limited jobs. So that competition would be there. Okay. It's not that there is no competition. But yes, once you bring on your experience, once you bring on your expertise to the work that you do, then I think it would be slightly better over a period of time.
Yes. So my suggestion for that is, please always be searching for what you want, whether it is year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So you should not be in a case where you have a 20 years career and then you figure out, here, shit, I've gone the wrong route. Okay. That wrong route can happen for first 3 years, 4 years. After 4 years or 5 years, that cannot happen. You should choose a path. So if you get 90% of us, don't get that path in first 1 year. Probably, 1% of the people get that path on day zero, 10% after 1 year, 20% after year two, 50% after year three. 90% of us should aspire to get to our career path after year four, which is why I'm saying, keep all doors open. Think of further education also, think of further qualification also. And believe me, just because you've studied a CA exam doesn't mean, or qualified in a CA exam doesn't mean that, people, will argue, they will, entertain you, right? There are smart people out there, so you have to compete in a very, very competitive world. Very smart, people. Your peers will be smart. People who are non-CS will also be very, very smart. Okay, just because you have some knowledge of GST, income tax, or accounting doesn't mean that that is going to solve all the problems of the business, right? So when you join, you have to be on a learning path. You cannot say that I will stop learning. You have to continuously be on the path of learning. Keep learning more, not only about your own subject, but also about other subjects. So if anyone says that I have passed CA, now all my education is over for life, then I'm really sorry to say that your career will not go great. If you say that my education is over for life, education can never be over for life.
So
In fact,
we still, when we are teaching also, we have to learn a lot, and then we can, we can teach. Right.
in fact, last week Suraj met somebody, a chartered accountant who was, I think, 60, 65 years old. That man, you want to share that, Suraj, how he's sitting and actually learning despite being a very,
No, no.
very.
So I met not so for all your context, I met BOS chairman. Okay. So when I met him, first impression was like he didn't look at what his age was, and the way he was talking about standards on auditing, the way he was remembering, was explaining and all of those things across different subjects. I was like literally surprised. Means like he was mentioning even at this age, he's bought some books of some teachers. Okay, it is surprising that board of studies, chairman of board of studies mentioning that that he's buying faculties textbook and also reading them just to get more knowledge and how things are around. Okay, so that continuous learning will happen and will continue to happen. Keep that in mind, and so the gist of all the discussion here is, you may not figure out in the first year, may not be in the second year, but by the third year you should be able to figure out. And most important, salary. A lot of us focus on, okay, if a particular job is giving me higher salary and the other one is giving me lower salary, let me take the higher salary job. Please don't do that. It's a humble request, because again, I can give you examples, and these are real life examples. I have seen people who have joined in, let's say, Citibank at, let's say, some 15 lakhs of salary, and the job that was offered at that point of time was copying some data from one particular Excel, pasting it to another Excel, generating some report, validating it, and forwarding it. Now, as chartered accountants, I don't think that is something which you should be aspiring for. Settle down for maybe something, even if you're getting 8 lakhs, 9 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, but initially the role which gives you immense learning and growth in your career. Don't get carried away by all of this, KPOs and BPOs where they offer higher salaries. But then after 3 months of time, you will realize why have I joined this, or is this what I should be doing in my life? Okay, so that is one thing. Bluntly put, some things maybe be clear of the role. So a couple of days back, one student had pinged me, and she is pursuing ACCA. He or she, I don't recall. But and a job that was offered was the first job description. The first line of the job description was converting PDF into Excel and creating a report. That is the first line item of responsibility. So don't take jobs which give such things as a responsibility. Today we have enough tools. We have AI. We have this. We have that. Your job should be more on analytics part, decision making part, working with CFOs, working with senior management. That is what you should be aspiring for. Sriram, any thoughts on if you want to add
Yes,
more on?
absolutely. So, in fact, I would actually go out and say that students should look for jobs out of their comfort zone. So, if you are, let's say, from non-metro, try and get a job in metro. Let's say you're from Delhi, try and get a job in Mumbai. If you're from Mumbai, get a job in Delhi. Go out of your comfort zone or comfort place and do it. If you're anyway come from a smaller town to a big city, try and change the city. You have to be necessarily out of your comfort zone because the learning experience is going to be immense. Especially don't leave a job because of location. Okay. And when I say location, don't leave a job because if it is in a different big city or something like that. See, if you get a job in very, very small town or, then that's a very different call. But please don't leave a job because, you have to move states or you have to move cities and all that. Because first, this is the age when you actually have to move out, establish yourself, become independent, and you'll have a learning experience both in life as well as in career. You will know people, you will interact with people of different regions, how they behave, how the companies run there. You will understand a lot more.
Politics, very important. Office
Yeah,
politics, the exposure you will get in a different place is very, very different. And
correct.
this is reality. Huh? Office politics is a reality. Don't think that I'll join some Tata group and there'll be no office politics and I'll be set for life. No, that doesn't work. Okay.
It's
So
a government job or private job, there are enough politics everywhere. It
yeah,
is Politics is not necessarily a bad word. Huh? It is just that navigating your career. That's all. Think of it in that way. Don't think of it as politics or backbiting or bitching about peers and all that. Those are all negative connotations. Think of it as positive. You are navigating your career where you try and showcase your skills. You try and grab opportunities. You try and accept challenges. Please think of office politics in that positive sense rather than negative sense. There are obviously negative aspects also. There will always be negative aspects. Should learn how to navigate them. That is also very, very important art. Right. So, and on the salary versus growth part, I would always say if you get a great company with great salary, obviously first choice. Second choice, great salary or great company, great company. Third choice, salary. Finally, last choice, neither great nor salary. Then, my suggestion is join a big four or big six till you actually figure the path out. There is no point joining a small local dhanda. I mean, and when I say dhanda, I'm not meaning in a derogatory way. I'm making it positive only. Don't join a small, very, very small setup in early part of your career. You need to meet a lot of people. You need to understand systems. You need to understand processes. You need to understand how things work in the world. So join a larger company. If you are not getting a larger company, please go and join a big four or big six where you will get at least some exposure. If you're not getting big six, join a bigger Indian firm. Okay. But don't settle for a very, very, very small job. That is my humble suggestion at the beginning of your career.
right. So
Suraj.
yeah, so that is it. And then those of you who are considering practice, please look at the gestation period. First 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we don't know how many years you will take to, at least break even. Okay. First 1 or 2 years will be a real struggle. And in all of these aspects, definitely talk to your seniors, talk to someone who is in this field in your family or in your friend circle. Keep meeting people. Try to figure out whomever you want to meet. Keep meeting people. Then you will have more ideas on what can be done. Right. Then what you can do till results. Upskilling is very, very important. Of course, you have done MCS, ITT, advanced ITT, whatever it is, but that alone is not sufficient because everyone has done it. And to be frank, I'm not, I don't see great value addition because of these courses being offered. Some of the faculties there are great, but all of them are not great. So try to figure out where you can learn or improve your communication skills. I keep saying this. I've been in group discussions with rank holders, and 50% of them don't speak. And if you don't speak, if you don't show confidence, companies will not hire you. Companies have, for one job, they'll be getting hundreds of applications. And if you're not able to speak and convince them, it is not going to work out. So work on your soft skills. If there are ways where you can, figure out where you are lacking. If you're lacking in your communication, work on that. Need not be fancy English, but at least confidently speaking in a proper English, you can communicate your part to the other parties. Keep attending interviews. Apply for companies. Keep attending interviews. That will give you some amount of confidence on how you can appear in the uh, further interviews that would come up. And yes, work on Excel. I have my course. You can enroll for that as well. And any other accounting software. Just keep learning. Don't leave these 2 months for enjoyment. Okay. Of course, I'm not saying study for 10 hours a day, but spend considerable time in getting additional qualification. There are a lot of soft skills courses you can figure out on Coursera, Udemy, or someplace. Do something, improve yourself so that you can actually be ahead of the crowd. Then figure out companies and roles that you want to apply for that we have been discussing. Very important, prepare a resume and get it reviewed by someone in your, by someone senior or someone whom you know who can review the resume so that the chances of shortlisting is higher. Okay. If you have confidence of passing, apply for interviews. There is nothing like that. And keep attending institutes event where you can meet other students, qualified professionals. Let's say there's one startup event coming up in Bangalore. Okay. I'm not saying that you'll make great or you'll gain great knowledge out of that event, but by attending that event, you may meet someone, you may meet some company, you may know about some company, and that way you can actually increase your circle. So networking is something which we lack as chartered accountants, right? So that is where you can, work on it. I think I have covered. Sriram, you have to add something on this?
Yeah. So just one point, what I wish to communicate is, see, you may think you are smart, but the other party has to know that you are smart, no? So you have to communicate your smartness. Just because you sit idle in an interview or, you got some, 70 or 80 in a subject in, in CA exams, does not automatically mean that the interviewer will accept you as a smart person. You have to necessarily convince them that you are smart. So for that, you have to open your mouth and talk. You have to talk in a language that they understand. So please, and I'm saying this, slightly bluntly, because we have seen enough people who mumble and fumble and jumble when we ask them to talk about themselves, or ask them a question which is slightly tougher. They struggle to respond to questions in an interview, and I've done hundreds. Since I and Suresh would have interviewed hundreds of candidates in our life, fresh chartered accountants, experienced people. It is very, very, very sad sometimes the way students don't even respond. Okay, so please make a resume, and please don't make a resume that is anyway more than one page. Okay,
Yeah,
your
that is very
age is
important.
21, your age is 21 or 22 or 23, and there is no way your resume can be more than a page. Okay, and please don't write all the elocution awards you got in fifth standard or sixth standard or stuff like that. You have to write reasonable stuff. Okay, if you don't have stuff, you have to figure out what you have achieved in life till that point of time and write that in the resume. Okay, please Google for resumes of MBA candidates, how they write the resume. So Google for IMA candidate resume, IMB resume, ISB resume. Google for resumes, you will get resumes online. See how they've structured. All of them put everything in one page. Create a resume like that. Please don't write your objective, mission, vision, values, and all of that in the resume. Please don't write date of birth, marital status, and the location, all that.
Address.
Correct address, and then I will do my duty diligently and faithfully, do all the work that is allotted. Please don't write stuff like that. Please look at resumes of MBA candidates, IMA, BC, or ISB. Everything is available online. Just have to Google and create a resume. You use ChatGPT 4o, or whatever you want to use it. But please, make use of all the resources and come up with a good resume. Okay. And other points, I think Suresh has already highlighted. Only one more thing that I would want you guys to do is, I would suggest is, please be on lookout for jobs. Don't expect that a job will come and fall into your lap. And please don't think that, you put your resume in one naukri.com, which is, by the way, anyway, a horrible place to start for your looking for your first job. Okay, please don't expect that you put it in one place and automatically some job will come. You have to put effort. Okay, so far when you put effort, you used to get marks. Now you have to put effort to get a job. Okay, please think of it that way. You have to go systematically. You do all this ABC analysis and all that stuff you do for exam, right? Same way you have to do here also. What are the kind of jobs? What are the companies? List out all the companies, choose the companies, apply for them. Who are the people there? Connect with all the employees on LinkedIn, follow the company on LinkedIn, follow the employees on Twitter, follow them on Instagram, wherever, it doesn't matter where. Okay, you have to get a job. You have to be, if you know that there is a company that you want to join, you have to be desperate enough to join. Okay, please build that desperation yourself to join a good company. Only then it will happen. Why? Because there are way too many competitors out there. And the competitors are nobody else, your own friends, your own peers, your own colleagues. Okay, so you have to put an effort to get the job. Nobody is going to come and give you a job. Okay, you have to put the effort. That's all I had.
Yeah, so that's, I think, broadly what we wanted to cover in the brief thing. If you have any questions you want to ask, or you want some clarity, we'll be there for a couple of more minutes, few more minutes we are there. Otherwise, we'll call the session.
Yeah.
Those of you are on YouTube, you can put it as a YouTube comment. I will pick it up from. Okay, so I think not more questions. So we'll wind up the session. How to increase professional English? Okay, so there is a question from Raj, how to increase professional English. One thing, Raj, if you are able to use even simple English in communication, that should be more than sufficient. So we don't need to use fancy English. Okay, I don't know when you say professional English. When you say English, you should. So see, one sad thing, or one, I will not say sad thing. One thing about the corporate work, or even the work when you're practicing, when you're interacting with income tax department, or when you're interacting with, let us say, GST department, MCA, everywhere communication medium is English. Okay. So by default, we must have understanding of basic English. We must be able to write emails in basic English. We must be able to communicate in basic English. So no need to look for fancy English. Even a simple reading of newspapers, or watching English news channels, or English shows, or English movies. If you're a cricket fan, you can follow English commentary. Even if you're able to do that, that will help you. In fact, we have a detailed video by Sriram on importance of English and what you can do to improve your English. It's available on YouTube. You can search that, or you can, if possible, I'll pick it up and I'll share it with you. With that, you can improve your English. One way to improve is communicate in English. Start communicating in English. Even if you feel that your English is not so great, others may make fun of you. Whatever it is, speak in English. Gradually, you will improve your English speaking skills.
Yeah. So in fact, I don't know whether through the foundation route or the direct entry route, Raj. If you're through the foundation route, professional English was explained in the first foundation level in a subject called business correspondence and reporting. Right. Exactly what is there in that is what is professional English. Now, how to speak? Obviously, you should know. You should talk to people in English other than your family and relatives. Talk to everybody else in English. Talk to your friends in English. It will improve. Right. And second, if you have, I know a lot of people in today's day and age don't read newspapers, but newspapers are is one of the best ways to pick up language, good language. So my strong suggestion would be to read a newspaper, whether you get the newspaper or whether you go to a library or whether you read somewhere else, please read a newspaper. That will improve the language. And then, of course, see, obviously that improvement will not happen overnight. Okay, if in last 22 years you have not read English newspaper and today you start reading, day after tomorrow morning, you'll not become proficient in English, right? So it will take time, but please No, because don't start now. We're not really sure when you will start, right? So that is one request that I have, which is please begin reading English newspapers. Because what tends to happen is in interviews also, you may be asked questions, what happened to this, what happened to that. Yesterday there was a news that this happened. So you should be able to respond, you should be able to articulate an opinion. Okay, when you're giving, so the reason why you're asked questions in exam, what is your opinion? Elaborate. These are the words that are used in questions, right? In company law, in auditing, and a bunch of other subjects. When they say elaborate and give you an opinion, you are supposed to understand, synthesize, assimilate, and then come back with a very clear view that is actionable. So you've given such kind of views in exam hall for technical subjects. Now you are supposed to give that views for real life scenarios, right? So which is why you have to read newspapers and bunch of other stuff, whatever we're telling about watching TV and talking to people in English. Okay, so that is one aspect. What else, Suraj? Any further questions?
I think English that is there. This just let me check YouTube if there is something. No, I don't think there are any questions on YouTube as well. Anyways, we are available, accessible on forums and all.
Yes.
Send in your queries. Give your best, and use this time, and that should actually, sort out your career path. Thanks for joining in. I know there is this interesting IPL match going on. Despite that, a lot of you, took your time out and you joined the session. Thanks a lot for those who joined on Zoom as well as on YouTube. We'll be coming up with more sessions, maybe towards the results time, and then we'll have more fruitful discussions there as well.
Oh, great. See you
Thank you.
guys. Bye from